let us start with our roll call. Mrs. Nye?
Barb Marston.
Here.
Jason Pollitt.
Here.
Laura Bruna.
Here.
Lindsay Love.
Here.
Joel Worth.
Joel Worth.
Here. Here.
You heard it. Great. Thank you, Mrs. Nye. Would everyone please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. We'll start off with some routine business. I do apologize to everyone for starting the meeting a little late this evening, but first off, we have to approve the minutes of our January 27th, 2021 regular board meeting. Could I please get a motion?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the January 27th, 2021 regular board meeting as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes of the January 27th, 2021 regular board meeting, please say aye.
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 Next, we have to approve and ratify payroll and the accounts payable vouchers. Could I get a motion, please?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve and ratify payroll and accounts payable vouchers.
Second.
All those in favor of approving and ratifying payroll and accounts payable vouchers, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carries. Dr. Castile, do we have any correspondence?
None this evening, Madam President.
Okay. So this evening, we have some presentations. Our first tonight is our student body president's comments and presentations. And tonight we have Ellie McClure from Castile High School. Ellie, could you come up to the podium, please? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ellie McClure, Camille Castile High School Student Body President. I am grateful for the opportunity to present the remarkable things happening at Castile High School this school year. To introduce myself, I have loved participating in many different programs that Castile has to offer. In addition to student government, I have lettered in both academics and in the fine arts. I have served as the president of choir and participated in our school musicals. I also have played on the tennis team and enjoyed entertaining people as part of the improv troupe. I am thankful for the chance I have to be involved and engaged in my high school. Let me recognize the people who make it happen in Castile's student government. This is a group of amazing individuals. Their ideas and involvement have made this year unforgettable. They are resilient, hardworking, and innovative. I am grateful for each one of them. As a student government, we decided on the motto for this year, all in this together. This means creating an environment where we can rely on each other and work together. It is a reminder to our student body that we are here to support and help one another. We have made goals to have a positive mindset and continually look for ways to better serve our student body. This focus changed the way we handled our struggles. Castile's athletes and coaches are grateful to be playing this year. Our programs continue to grow and thrive. Castile's varsity football showed their resilience by becoming the Fiesta Region champions in their first season as a 6A school. Winter sports are in season and Castile athletes are working hard. Both our men and women's soccer team and our women's basketball team are currently undefeated. The award-winning Castile Fine Arts Department has been sharing their talents in new and innovative ways. Our dance program performed their concert virtually, allowing their family members to watch from anywhere. Choir performed live this past December while following COVID-19 restrictions. Our theater company produced 2 virtual one-acts and recently held their musical auditions. Orchestra and band are preparing for their upcoming concert. So what have we been able to accomplish as a student government this year? We were able to have our first ever virtual Spirit Week, with students sending in pictures of them in their spirit gear. We were more creative with our virtual spirit days, such as Bring Your Pet to School Day. We also held a virtual talent show with students submitting videos from home, with an original song and music video winning first place. We supported the Chandler Care Center by holding a drive-by cereal box donation, collecting hundreds of boxes of cereal. As a student government, we were able to create a COVID-19 safety video to send out to students for a safe in-person return. We also supported a local organization that creates bags for the homeless by collecting personal care item donations from our students. We were also able to do a virtual holiday scavenger hunt using the Goose Chase app. This app allows students to participate by sending in photos and videos of them finding holiday items on the scavenger hunt list. With a year of restrictions, we were able to find ways to be involved as a student body, engaged as a school, and serve our community. That was just our virtual involvement. When we returned back in person, we were able to hold 2 Spirit Weeks. Our first was college-themed Spirit Week, and the other had a winter holiday theme. We had fun lunchtime activities where students could dance for a donut and find out what they really would do for a Klondike bar, like pretending they were a supermodel walking the runway. We recently were able to have our senior sunrise. We gathered on the bleachers to watch the sunrise, listen to music, and hear from our principal, all while following COVID-19 guidelines. It was special to share this experience with the senior class. Another tradition at Castile we've been implementing to build a greater sense of community has been our sports goodie bags. Each semester we assemble good luck bags for our sports team, and it is a small and simple way to encourage our athletes. Last week we finished our first ever compliment project. This project allows students to scan QR codes throughout campus and fill out a form complimenting someone. We then printed out the compliments and gave them to the students. It was uplifting to see students encouraging one another. We have some exciting things planned for this next few months. First, we have our Random Acts of Kindness Week, also known as RAC Week. As a student government, we will write notes of appreciation to put on students' cars. We will feature every student's names written on paper hearts displayed in the hallways. With our World Language Department, we will collect supplies for our annual drive in memory of Raylan, a teacher's niece who sadly passed away. This Week of Kindness will help promote our motto, all in this together. We are busily preparing for our homecoming week. This year, our theme is Pixar Pier. We'll have a Spirit Week, crowning of homecoming queen and king, and Pixar-themed hallways. At lunchtime, we are offering individual treats such as popcorn and cotton candy and playing Pixar trivia. With a lot of effort and careful planning, we will make a COVID-friendly homecoming week possible without the dance. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you the highlights of our outstanding school. Thank you for your service and dedication to the district.
Thank you, Ellie. We appreciate you sharing all the things that are going on at Castile. It looks like you guys have been incredibly busy, and I am thrilled to see how creative your Stugo has been to create activities that are COVID-friendly, shall we say, and or COVID mitigation friendly rather than COVID friendly. We actually don't want a COVID friendly event. So thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you in a couple. How many weeks? Is it 3 weeks? Okay.
Awesome. I'll see you in 3 weeks.
Thank you so much. Or 3 meetings, rather. And then from Chandler High School, we have Sienna Ibarra. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Ibarra. Okay, thank you. How do I present?
Hi, how are you guys?
Great.
My name's Siana Ibarra, and I'm the proud student body president at Chandler High School. I've been a part of student council for 6 years. It's been a really exciting journey, and I've been so excited to be a part of it in high school ever since I was a small 6th grader at the student council convention. I want to start off by appreciating the people that help make it happen. So we have, okay. This is my student body class, our senior class, our junior class, our sophomore class, and our freshman class. I'm so proud of everything we've accomplished this year and excited to see what the rest of the years hold for them. Starting off, the Chandler High football team did win the Open Division Championship back in December in a nail-biter of a game against our longtime rivals, the Hamilton Huskies. Our head coach, Coach Garrettson, was named the Coach of the Year, as well as Brandon Buckner named Defensive Player of the Year, with many more awards given out to the rest of the team. Overall, with all sports, we've had 31 players commit to play, go on to the next level for their sports, and even more we plan in coming in the spring. Last year, our school had lost a valued coach and faculty member who had been with us for over 15 years. Being able to have Carrie Crosswhite as a teacher will probably be the most valued class as I go on and leave Chandler High School. Gone but not forgotten is the saying, and earlier before the start of the swim season, we had named our school's pool after him, called the Carrie Crosswhite Aquatic Center. Coming in from theater after our success from our last year's production, All Shook Up, which had sold out all 3 nights, our theater department is excited to be able to host another divine show, which will be The Little Mermaid. Auditions are on their way as of this week and hope to have a cast list out soon as well. In November, our very own Modaz Dance had set up a virtual presentation, which we had pre-recorded and sent out over YouTube to help present what they've learned so far to their families. When the school year had started online, I was a little sad at the missed opportunity to welcome our freshmen. So to give them a fair welcome, we had teamed up with our teachers, counselors, and link crew to have a drive-through for our freshman parents and students to go and get some Chandler High School merch, as well as a yard sign we put out that shows that they are the class of 2024. As we had transitioned to in-school learning, we were able to present to small groups of freshmen each session while being socially distant and having introduction for clubs and different activities for our school and fun games, as well as breakaway groups who had been given tours of our campus, all COVID safe. Every year, Chandler and Hamilton Student Councils team up for a Chandler vs. Hamilton Battle for AZ Ave game to help raise money for our local Make-A-Wish Foundation. Chandler High was able to donate and raise $2,503.38, which is the largest sum we've ever donated. And we presented our check at halftime. Not only that, but one of our very own faculty members, Miss Sarah Weifels, was announced as Teacher of the Year as well. Throughout the years, we have been excited to put spirit into our campus, having multiple spirit weeks throughout the year. already based on the month, game, or season. To help as well, we always like to play music during lunches related to our Spirit Week. Not only that, but we've also had choir come out and sing holiday tunes during this season. This week, we wanted to highlight being back to school and wanted to give a little boost, so we had a Valentine's Spirit Week. Today's day being Pink Out, Wednesday referring to Mean Girls, as well as tomorrow being Opposites Attract, and for Friday, we get a little formal for a date night. During our lunch, we're even setting the mood for the upcoming weekend. We plan to sell single flowers out to our students, helping our Chandler community. Helping our Chandler community is also our best. Oh, sorry. Okay. Helping our Chandler community is also a big part of our council in November. In November, we had helped run a food drive where we had students bring in pre-packaged food as well as turkeys, and had students from not only student council, but our Chandler High Lady Wolves basketball team had come on a Saturday to pass it out to the community. In the spirit of Christmas, one of our own students had lost their house in a fire. And during that time, we usually adopt a family, and so we adopted the family of 5. We got them clothes, toys, and even household appliances for the time to come. As we get more into our new 2021 years, we are excited to start rolling in student body and class elections during our 3rd quarter to get an early start on our upcoming year for next year, as well as hoping to plan a pre-recorded Unity Assembly and to stream it out to our 2nd hour, as well as a Unity Day devoted to people sharing their cultures. I'm so excited to see what the rest of the year may have for me and my council, and to be back and to share a little more about what we have going on when we meet again.
Thank you so much, Sienna. We appreciate you coming out and talking to us about what has been going on at Chandler High. It looks like you guys also have been really busy and just doing so much for your community and your student body at your school. So thank you so much for being a leader for that, for your organization, and really helping with the spirit and helping all of the entire school enjoy their years of high school. So thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be looking forward to seeing you. I also probably in 3 meetings? Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, our next is we have a presentation from Dr. Adama Salou, who is our Director of Equity and Inclusion. And with her tonight is the African American Administrative Group, and they have a presentation on Black History Month today. Adama, thank you for coming.
God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast led by thy might, lead us into the light. Governing Board President, Governing Board members, Dr. Castile, members of the Cabinet, welcome to the CUSD Black History Celebration. Tonight, we honor Black educators in CUSD, in Arizona, and throughout the country. Educators, past, present, and those yet to come. August 20th, exactly 1619, the first 20 Africans arrived in the colonies. For over 400 years, African Americans have built, contributed, and shaped the modern American that we know today. From the creation of the modern GPS system by Gladys West, to the launching of the NASA first space flight, and a host of other contributions in the humanities, arts, education, sports, politics, and the global cultural impact of Black culture. Black history is indeed American history. Please rise for the Black National Anthem. There's the sound. can sing along, please.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Please have your seats. Tonight, we have 4 of CUSD finest educators. Christina Lucas Sheffield, Principal, CTA Freedom. Sean Mitchell, Principal, Chandler Early College. Janisha Wright, Assistant Principal, Riggs Elementary. Michael Franklin, Principal, Chandler High School. They will bring forth the proclamation for Black History Month.
Black history is a significant part of American history and should be studied throughout the year. Since 1976, in the United States of America, February has been designated as the month in which especially memorable events done by African Americans should be recognized and celebrated.
Chandler Unified School District has been positively shaped by the contributions of past, present employees, many African American leaders, administrators, educators, and student pioneers. This year, we pay homage to our Black educators, classified, certified, and administrative staff that serve all of our students in Chandler Unified School District.
Chandler Unified School District continues to work toward becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens, past, present, and future, are respected and recognized for their contributions, and potential contributions as well, to our community, the state, the country, and the world. Now, therefore, on behalf of our governing board and superintendent in Chandler Unified School District,
we proclaim the month of February 2021 as Black History Month, as we honor the contributions of past and present employees, the many Black leaders, administrators, educators, and student pioneers. We urge all Chandler and Arizona residents to celebrate diversity, promote equity, inclusion, and excellence in our community as we commit to working towards the ideals of equality, freedom, and the opportunity that our country represents.
Tonight, we wear these t-shirts to join Orion Elementary School, where the principal, Diane Wells, have had staff wearing this shirt on Friday and every Friday this month to honor Black history. I now have my colleague and friend, Ms. Heather Tony, for a 6th grade teacher at Orion Elementary School, to come and share with us what she's doing in her classroom to educate our children in CUSD. Heather?
Thank you. And I'm a total technology amateur, so just a second. Okay, I'll let you do it. You're the professional.
Which one is that?
The top one, yeah. And will you just press play when I start talking? It's going to be quiet at first. So I'm going to talk through this video because
we were all in masks and we couldn't hear when we were done recording, so I thought it would be easier for you to see what was happening if I narrated it for you. So I'm really humbled to be here today to talk and honor Black history in our country and provide you with a little glimpse. Our 6th grade students have been learning about important Black Americans that have taken action and chosen to participate in making changes they saw as important for both their country and community. This particular lesson had the students brainstorming needs they have observed in their own local and larger communities. Students shared out their observed needs, and they ranged from a cleaner environment to taking care of our elderly and homeless, and to supporting the rights of minority populations. Next, we discussed the ways students can participate with action in order to bring about these important changes. Students suggested participating might include learning about the topic to become better informed, donating time and resources to support change, protesting peacefully as needed, and being strong, positive role models for others. We moved on to discuss what students had learned in previous lessons about Ruby Bridges, Rosa Parks, and MLK Jr. Then I read a chapter about Claudette Colvin, a young 15-year-old lesser-known change agent who participated and took action during the civil rights movement. Claudette was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She was charged and served time in jail because she chose to take action and participate in eliminating the repressive laws in the lives of Black Americans. Students discussed Claudette Colvin's character traits and saw her as brave, educated, passionate, and confident. They engaged and explored the idea of participating in change by analyzing the actions of Claudette and constructing their own action ideas to participate in supporting the changes they felt passionate about. Some students wrote about conserving water, some wrote about defending LGBTQ minorities, and some wrote about standing up against racism and discrimination towards minorities and individuals with disabilities. Here are just a couple of students sharing what they understand as needs within our country. Their ideas and words are full of hope and positive change to come.
Claudette Colvin was brave because she took action by speaking up to a police officer about her constitutional rights, even though she would get in trouble for ignoring and talking back to some of the white population. She was also intelligent and attentive as she has learned about civics and human rights as a citizen and a student. I can participate in making changes by doing the following. I can support Indigenous people as they try to claim native land and objects taken from their possession. I can also help recognize Native, African, Asian, and other racial minorities' impact on the U.S.
Claudette Colvin was confident because she took action by showing that she had constitutional rights. Claudette was also very brave when she was demanded to move from her seat on the bus. She impacted Blacks and whites around the USA only at the age of 15. I can participate in making change by doing the following. I want to learn more about the civil rights and not discriminate people based on race, gender, or physical or mental disabilities.
Thank you for the opportunity to share a little glimpse into the corners of our classroom. We appreciate it.
Amanda Gorman, for there's always light, if only we are brave to see it, if only we are brave to be it. Dr. Camille Castile, we the Black educators at USD, thank you for being our light. Thank you for your courageous leadership. Thank you for lending us your shoulders to stand upon. Thank you for being our light. For there is always light, if only we are brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it. Thank you, Dr. Castile, for being our light. Thank you. That concludes our celebration tonight.
Thank you all for coming this evening and for the presentation. I appreciate it, and I loved the classroom video from Ryan. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I appreciate you taking the time out this evening to come to the board meeting and do the presentation. Thank you so much. Next, we have a presentation from Amber Stewart, and she will be presenting our parent survey results.
Madam President, members of the board, I'm here tonight to share the results from our latest parent survey. Before we begin looking at responses, I want to provide more information about the survey window and our participants this evening. The survey was distributed to families on the evening of January 26th and remained open through January 31st. We had 13,657 parents respond to that survey. Some of those parents had multiple students in the household, so it was a student representation of 16,456 students. We have the ability to look at the grade level breakdown of those families. 39.8% of the families that participated in the survey have a pre-K through 6th grade student. 20.8% of those families have a 7th or 8th grader, and 39.4% of the families have a student in high school. We'd also like to share the participation by day. On the very first day of the survey opening at 5 p.m., we had 9,404 responses from families, continuing the next day with 2,776 responses, and continuing through the week with a couple of hundred responses each day. So now I'm going to go through each question in the order it was presented on the survey. The first item asked parents to indicate what site their child attended. If the parent chose Chandler Online Academy or Elementary Connect, they were presented with this item. The Chandler Online Academy is meeting the needs of my child at this time. And looking through this, we have strongly agree at 22%, agree at 43%, neither agree or disagree at 17%, disagree at 12%, and strongly disagree at 7%. That shows a satisfaction rate of 65% from our COA families. What we like to do is break that down by grade level because there's been a lot of conversation about Elementary Connect and Chandler Online Academy. So here you'll see the trends with our pre-K 6 students, our 7th and 8th grade students, and then our high school students. There was an overall satisfaction with our pre-K 6 families at 69.7%, 54.3% with our 7th and 8th graders, and 55.4% for our high school students of the families that participated in the survey. The next question was presented to all of our families that participated. How regularly do you check the district website regarding COVID-19 updates? You'll find that our respondents showed that 12% check the website daily, 18% check the website weekly, 19% stated they check the website often, 35% say sometimes, and then 15% of our respondents have not visited our website this year. Again, when we look at the grade level breakdowns of these families, it's consistent across all grade levels about the frequency with our visits to the COVID-19 dashboard, or website, excuse me. The next item asked, how satisfied are you with your child's most recent virtual experience on January 6th through January 15th? You'll see that 29.1% of our families were extremely satisfied, 30.7% of our families were somewhat satisfied, and looking at our trends across, we'll see that 2.5% of our respondents did not have their child participate in the 2-week virtual experience. Once again, we wanted to provide you a breakdown by grade level. And when we're looking at overall satisfaction, in our pre-K 6 families, 62.6% of our families were satisfied with their virtual experience. Looking at 7th and 8th grade, we have a 58.4% satisfaction. And then with our high school, we're looking at an overall of 56.6% satisfaction with the virtual experience. You'll also see the breakdowns of the other satisfaction categories, along with students that did not participate in that 2-week window. The next item asked the families to select the learning preference for their family at this time. You'll notice that the bright blue is in-person learning at 72.3% for the respondents. 19% of our respondents picked virtual learning, and 8.7% of our respondents already attend Chandler Online Academy. Once again, we did a grade level breakdown for the data. On this side, you'll see our pre-K 6 trends are pretty consistent at 75.4% of our families wanting in-person learning for their pre-K 6 student, and 14.3% of our families wanting virtual learning. We're going to hop over to the other side for 7th and 8th grade, showing 74.4% of the respondents wanting in-person learning for their children, and 18.9% of the respondents wanting virtual. And then this bottom chart is high school. 70.6% of the respondents wanted in-person learning for their child. 23.2% of the respondents wanted virtual learning. And the indicators in green are showing the families that already attend the Chandler Online Academy. The next item asked how I am aware of Chandler Unified School District's mitigation strategies. We put this on a Likert scale. So when looking at strongly agree and somewhat agree, 72.2% of our families are aware of the mitigation strategies. You can see the rest of the responses on the graph, and looking at our strongly disagree, a category being at 4.5% for our participants. The next question asked, how do you feel CUSD has handled the pandemic in comparison to other districts? 21% of our respondents said CUSD has done a much better job in handling the pandemic in comparison to other districts. 23% responded that we were somewhat better. 27% of the respondents said that CUSD was about the same in comparison to other districts. 17% of the respondents said that CUSD was somewhat worse at handling the pandemic in comparison to other districts. And 12% of the respondents said that CUSD was much worse in comparison to the other districts. The last item on the survey asked parents to just provide any additional feedback. And we had over 4,517 comments that I believe were provided last week, but we can provide those if you haven't seen them yet. In looking at those topics, there was quite a long list, but these were the ones that came up frequently. One was information regarding instruction and their children and the instructional strategies and modalities that were available to their children. The data being used for decisions. Comments about our mitigation strategies, our responsiveness to the pandemic, appreciation to CUSD staff, and then other comments about quarantine. And that's the conclusion of the parent survey results. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Amber.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming out tonight and presenting the parent survey to us. It's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do any board members have any questions? Ms. Love?
Thank you. So I was in a meeting yesterday with the ASB, and we talked about survey data. And one of the things that came up was our surveys never really get demographic information, which we've talked about before. But do we have a breakdown of like racial and ethnic category, school, language, things like that to kind of help give us some more in-depth information?
That's a great question. So we didn't authenticate on this survey. So the breakdowns that we have are by site. So we know what sites participated in that survey, and we can provide that to you in the PDF document. In terms of language, the only information we can gain from the survey is if the parent participated in the English or Spanish version, because we translated it in both languages, and the comments came through in that way. So those were the two pieces that we have available with this data set. We can get more when we authenticate by numbers, but we have to be careful that we're not keeping making it hard or challenging for a parent to participate.
Well, I ask just because there are a number of articles that are coming out in terms of like parent trust and school districts, and particularly reading like our BIPOC families have a lack of trust with public school systems. And we're also seeing that too in terms of like lack of trust with vaccine and mitigation strategies. And so we're seeing these families go with different options like homeschooling and things like that. So I'm just kind of wondering if that is a trend within our district where we're losing families of color because of lack of trust. So that's just kind of like one of my things in terms of like how do we build trust with these families to keep them, if that's an issue. The other thing I have is I had a number of people message me about the integrity of the survey. And I don't know how to verify this or how you would verify this, but it seemed that a number of people felt like you were able to take the survey multiple times. Do we have a system to just kind of like verify like IP addresses to make sure that we're not getting, 5 surveys from the same IP address? Or is there some way of like verifying that, it's one per household or, however we would do that to make sure that we're protecting the integrity of the survey?
That's a great question, and we talked about that quite a bit. In terms of authenticating, you can authenticate on email addresses, which we know not all of our families have. So that's a barrier that we have to consider when administering a survey. The other piece is we could authenticate off a student ID number, but once again, that could be a barrier for our other family or for families. We did have the link put in Infinite Campus where parents had to get into the portal, and parents being helpful and not really understanding the logistics behind that, shared that link, and we were aware of that on that second day, which is why we went through the breakdown of when we knew the link was still just internal with Infinite Campus and when it went live, maybe on social media platforms. And through that, a majority of our responses were through that Infinite Campus secure portal. It was 9,400. And then once it hit those social media platforms, we really didn't see an increase at all in those responses. And I can go back to that first slide if you want to look.
Yeah, no, I was paying attention to that just to kind of see.
Yeah. I think that's something we're going to have to continue to work on to find a way where we can authenticate in a true way and not keep families out or put a barrier in place where a parent can't participate. So we're going to continuously work on that for sure.
Those are the only questions that I had. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lindsay. Mr. Olive, anything?
Nothing for me that I can think of right now.
Okay. Mrs. Brunner? No? Joel, are you still with us? Okay. I think I don't have any questions either. Thank you. I truly appreciate you coming out this evening and presenting this important survey information. So I appreciate
your time. Thank you.
Our next section is our citizen comments, where members of the public can comment. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically on our agenda, and therefore pursuant to ARS 38-430.1, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date. I would first like to ask Mr. Terry Locke to please present our online public comments.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Castile and guests. Since our last board meeting on January 27th, we heard from 8 people who took advantage of our electronic method to provide citizen comments. The opportunity is promoted on our governing board page, allowing for the convenience of providing feedback remotely. With our current format, we're able to provide board members feedback in advance to give them time to process the information and ask questions of the district administration. This process also gives us time to sort responses by categories and provide a bigger picture view in addition to all the verbatim responses. These are organized by topic of interest. This week, we've categorized them in the following manner. 1 is athletics. Number 2 is a thanks to the board. Number 3, consistency in academic program. Number 4, keep in-person instruction. Number 5, keep and offer virtual instruction. Number 6, health and safety, mask and metrics. And you have all the submissions verbatim for your consideration. They're also available on the website for public review.
Thank you, Mr. Locke. And this evening, we have one individual who has completed our blue slip, and that is Mr. Kurt Roars. Kurt, you have 3 minutes if you would like to go ahead and go to the podium. Thank you for coming out this evening.
And thank you for having me. Madam Superintendent, staff, and board members, my name is Kurt Roars. I'm a parent in this district. Come here this evening to address the board and staff members on improving reading in our schools. Equity means the equal opportunity for all children in Chandler schools. However, this simply cannot be accomplished till all children have acquired solid fundamental skills, particularly in reading. The district should be focusing its primary effort on overcoming insufficient reading proficiency at all levels. Students should be thoroughly tested and, if necessary, directed to remedial programs to catch them up to an on-level proficiency as a first priority. True equity in education simply cannot be achieved without this core skill being in place. Significant damage has been done to our children by not being properly educated, particularly over the last year. It's been very difficult. It is requested that districts start redirecting resources to building reading proficiency at all levels of the curriculum as the highest priority. It is also highly recommended that the district curriculum move away from supporting certain political and social agendas and to become non-aligned with any of them in favor of a keen focus on core education and fundamental learning skills. Many parents have expressed deep concerns about the indoctrination movement in school curriculum. It seems to result in more intolerance, division, suppression, and censorship in our society. Nearly all subject matter now seems to be increasingly infused with a toxic brew of prejudice, criticism, animosity, envy, suspicion, victimhood, and demagoguery. None of these are paths that we would want our children to follow. The way out is to provide suitable critical thinking tools for our students. To do this, they must have a fair and factual presentation material on the different perspectives of an issue, but more importantly, sufficient reading skills in order to evaluate and comprehend that material. They should be encouraged to search out and read more on certain subjects. After all, they do have access to all the world's knowledge in their hands at all times with their cell phones. Further, students must be allowed to express their own views in the market square without fear of reproach or exclusion. This goes particularly for students with conservative views, which cannot be criticized as being wrong, intolerable, unacceptable, so that they are discouraged from speaking their minds. The ultimate goal for our students as they graduate should be self-determination.
30 seconds.
They will inevitably inherit the world in their own time. Please let's make sure they're prepared to make it a better one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roars. Now we'll move on to our consent agenda. Dr. Castile.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, your consent agenda has out-of-state field trip pre-planning forms from Basha and Hamilton High Schools. We have a request to approve the monetary gifts that have been donated to some of our schools at $6,063.20. We have a number of items that have been generated, $1,099.22. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, Dr. Gilbert presented the performance-based compensation system in a public hearing. We're here this evening under consent to ask you to approve the 301 pay for performance plan. Food and nutrition job description has been updated. It's a description for a vendor and product control supervisor. We're recommending approval for up to 10 days of COVID-19 leave for eligible employees, retroactive to January 1st, 2021, and to continue through June 30th, 2021. And there is a letter of explanation from Dr. Falloon in Human Resources. Human Resources, Employment, Separation, and Compensation. We're recommending approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Castile. Could I please get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have our action item for this evening, 9.01, superintendent/interim superintendent search. I think that Ms. Love is going to make a motion.
Madam President, I make a motion to retain the Arizona School Board Association to assist the district with the interim superintendent search and direct the board's legal counsel to follow up with ASBA regarding the related consultant contract.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? If not, all those in favor of utilizing ASBA as a consultant for the interim superintendent search, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have our student activity, ancillary operations, and tax credit reports, and I believe that's Mrs. Berry.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, the student activity, student auxiliary tax credit reports for the month ending July through January 21st are provided for your review.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board on student activity, auxiliary, or tax credits? Just a reminder that you can still donate for tax credit for the 2020 school year. If you so desire, I believe that is available to you until April 15th. And I believe you do have to designate as to whether it's going to be for the 2020 school year or 2020 calendar year or the 2021 calendar year when you do make your donation, because this is the time when you can do either one or both of them.
Thank you.
Next we have, Better Chinese, Better Immersion Curricular Materials for Dual Language Exploration for Preschool. Mr. Narducci.
Yes, this item comes to the board, Madam President, members of the board. This agenda item comes to you in lieu of the fact that we're starting a pre-kindergarten dual immersion exploration program at Liberty and Tarwater. This one is for the Tarwater Mandarin program that's opening next year. Better Chinese, Better Immersion materials are designed to teach language and culture to students in the pre-kindergarten setting. The highly engaging and age-appropriate resources provide an introduction to words, phrases, and character writing. The series is designed as a set of 36 storybooks for student use and comes with a teacher guide, a student workbook, big books for whole group instruction, and activity and writing sheets. Also included is access to an online learning system, classroom license for a maximum of 25 seats for one academic year. The total cost of the program is $3,062.58. Funded through the district textbook budget, includes materials, online licensing, and shipping and applicable taxes. The Better Chinese, Better Immersion resources will be used in the dual language exploration pre-kindergarten program at Tarwater to support language instruction. In accordance with ARS 15-721, the curriculum will be placed on display for the 60-day public review period for comments at the Melinda Romero Instructional Resource Center starting on February 11th, 2021. And with us is Dr. Jessica Edgar, who will also be here to answer any questions regarding the material.
Thank you, Mr. Narducci. Are there certain, does the general public need to make an appointment with anybody at the Melinda Romero Instructional Resource Center in order to view these materials?
Great question. Dr. Edgar will take the mic over there and let you know the process.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Castillo, members of the board. At this point in time, we do not need to make, public does not need to make an appointment. They may come in and our receptionist will greet them and walk them to the material. Currently, we have everything that is online because our vendors are not, at this point in time, wanting to send material due to the transfer of the different physical pieces. So we will have that available tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from the board?
I have one. So are you saying that it's possible for someone to look at it from home? Is it, or no?
You know what? That is a good question. I do know that we will have there'll be a placard there with the information to log on. That is something that we haven't explored, but something that we should explore. So I can get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you. And I was just wondering, Mr. Narducci, if you would be able to explain how staff members and family members, maybe who have already been part of these programs, had any participation or contribution to the decision on the
Sure. Fortunately, the quality materials for Mandarin learning and learning materials, we've already used better. We already used the program that's already here, and it's extending down. And there are very few programs that actually do as effective a job in the discovery and exploration for that age student. And so teachers, as Jessica can see too, they also review the materials, see those and recommend as part of the committee to recommend the materials that are being brought in front of the board for adoption or for use.
So you're saying before today, they've already seen it, or they will in the next 60 days?
I can answer that question. Thank you. So actually, Better Immersion is something that is new because we use Mandarin Matrix in our DLI for K through 6 because it's an exploration. We had to find something that's more developmentally appropriate for our pre-kindergarten students. We did have Jamie McBride, who is our Assistant Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and she does world languages, DLI program, as well as pre-kindergarten. And she worked alongside of the staff at Tarwater, an exclusive group that teach that Mandarin piece, as well as the principal to look through some of these pieces to make this recommendation.
And it's a small group of teachers that actually utilize the material, so those teachers are aware of the programming and materials.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming out tonight to answer our questions. Next, we have our board agenda roadmap. And let's see, today is February 10th. And our next meeting will be February 24th. I see that there is a virtual Chandler Innovation Fair on the 19th and 20th of February. Will we have information on how to access that? Okay, great. Because I think it'd be great to have the community know how they can access that virtually. So let's see. Dr. Castillo, do you have some comments for this evening?
I have a few things, Madam President, members of the board. We continue to work to provide COVID-19 vaccine opportunities for our staff. I think most of you know, in partnership with the Arizona Department of Health, local pharmacists Safeway, Albertsons, and Fry's, we provided approximately 2,500 Moderna vaccines to our staff, local child care workers, private and charter schools on January 30th and 31st. Round 2 is slated for March 6th. That's a week later than we thought. But the county and our partners are telling us it'll be March 6th. It once again will be held at Hamilton and Perry High. The people that got the first vaccine will be notified of the opportunity to get the second one directly from the pharmacies. But we're following up on what those procedures are so we can make sure our staff is well informed. In addition, our partnership with the Dignity Health in Maricopa County is providing CUSD staff their second dose of the Pfizer vaccine at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and we're very grateful for them working we had so many staff that had already taken the Pfizer, and we're having difficulty getting the second dose, so our partners helped us there. Back on the Moderna administration at Perry and Hamilton, I would be remiss. I want to not only acknowledge those partners, but we have some partners in the contractor arena. Core Construction, Chase, Concord, and McCarthy all provided us the physical setup and vests and signage and flags and the pop-ups, everything we needed for the 2 sites, and lunch for all the volunteers. So we are very appreciative of their contribution, and I understand they'll be there again for us at the next time. You know, I've said the last couple times, we're trying to get back to educational things, and which you all are in this business for, and we're excited to tell you lots of things are happening. We're trying to keep you in the loop. Right now, the latest is related to the National Merit Finalists. Results are trickling in, but once again, we are anticipating more than 60 National Merit Finalists, and once again, Hamilton High has a whopping 43 this year. And our Innovation Fair, it's exciting, it's virtual, over 500 projects have been submitted virtually, and we'll get to you so that you know how you can access it virtually. In addition, we're in the process of doing the annual report. The Channel 99 team is going to have some fun with it from what I've seen. So it'll be informative but also entertaining. So that'll be coming out. Mrs. Mosden, you asked me, I sent you folks an article about Hamilton High student Christopher Lau. Do you remember that on the UV? This is a wireless charging sanitizing unit. And I want to share with you that what's unique about this is he designed it. He found a manufacturer in China. He designed it and developed it. He paid for it himself. And he donated 60, I believe, to the Hamilton staff. And Mr. Delatorre brought me one that I'd like to put up front. And what's so special about this one, I have one in the office, and people that come in to see us use it for their phone. You can do your phone, your sunglasses, anything that fits in this box. But really special, and he has it so you can put some aromatherapy. And you put a couple drops so you can clean your mask. So anyway, this young man, he's raising funds now because he'd like to have more manufactured so he can donate them, and that was what the article was. The newspaper picked it up. So we have some brilliant students in this district, and I wanted to share, Mrs. Mosden wanted to take a look at it, so there it is. And
thank you.
We have a 3-day weekend. I think it's President's Day. So our staff is doing beautifully, frankly, and things seem to be at a calm routine. And we're excited to bring you at one of us, I think it's the next study session. We're going to bring the Mandarin program here to you, and you're going to get to experience our elementary children speaking, and then we're going to give you a test at the end, right? Arducci's working with the Mandarin folks, and Mrs. Hale over at Tarwater. We're going to do a quick presentation so you can experience what these kids have learned over the last 4 or 5 years.
Do we get a study guide for the test?
They are amazing.
Thank you, Dr. Castile. Do any of our board members have any comments for this evening? Mrs. Bruner? Mr. Olive?
No, thank you.
Ms. Love?
Sure. I just want to thank everybody who participated in the Black History Month presentation tonight. Beautiful. I love it every year. Also, I'm the president of the Black Alliance for the Arizona School Board Association. And this month, we're also highlighting the importance of integrating Black history into our curriculum. And so I got to interview Dr. Kennedy from the Baltz District about her perspective on it. And then we have a few other school governing board members who interviewed superintendents around the valley. It's being pushed out, I believe, today. Go to the ASBA YouTube page and you can check it out.
Thank you, Ms. Love. Mr. Worth, do you have anything to say?
I do. I just want to thank the board and the administration for being patient with me as I work through my health issues. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Worth. With that, I don't really have anything to say this evening, so with that, our meeting is adjourned.